Hey everyone, Darren here, and I thought we'd have a quick chat about Total War Rome Remastered. So the game is out. It released on April 29th, and it's sort of underperformed. It's kind of hard to say what numbers Creative Assembly were expecting, but this remaster had less players than Age of Empires, Command & Conquer, and even Thrones of Britannia. Does it matter? Not really. It was just a bit surprising, but what does probably matter a little bit more is the reviews, and as of release, the game is sitting at mixed, teetering just on the edge of mostly positive on Steam, hovering around that 70% mark. So why? This is supposed to be the best Total War game ever, right? At least that's what we always hear. I mean, I know it's my favorite, but a lot of people were quite upset when I said in my previous video on Rome Remastered that Rome 1 would not hold up by today's standard, even as a remaster. So what are people complaining about? Well, broadly speaking, there's three issues that just keep cropping up. Number 1, you need the latest version of Windows 10 to run the game. Number 2, a mixture of complaints about UI and the look of the game just feeling a little bit off. And number 3, the AI being fairly brain dead, and what would be considered completely broken by today's standard. I've played it for about 20 hours, and I also feel a little bit mixed on it. On the one hand, it's mostly just the original game, but it runs way better. And for $15, that's a pretty cheap way to just get a little hit of nostalgia and remember the good old days. If you hadn't played it before though, it's going to be $30 and it's arguably one of the worst Total War games you can probably play right now. Shogun 2, Rome 2, Warhammer 2, those are all much more refined and better experiences in their current state. Now again, I feel the need to say that I love the original, possibly more than anyone. Because of that game, I decided to get into modding, ultimately go into game development, and even work my dream job at Creative Assembly itself when I was just 22. The game will always mean so much more to me than to most people, I think. And I play it a few times each year. It's got a lot of great features that certainly feel missing in the newer titles, but the reality is, it just doesn't hold up very well as an overall experience, largely due to the AI, but also some tedious micromanagement you're going to encounter pretty early on, and just small rosters, not that much content, not that many factions. Now I know what some of you are going to be thinking, but Darren, don't you know what a remaster is? They called it a remaster, not a remake. What did you expect? Okay, so first off, there's no hard definition of what a remaster must entail. It's what you make of it. Lots of companies do it differently. You're remastering the game to be of a 2021 standard, and games are interactive, so it's a little bit different. For some people, that means just a new coat of paint, controls, optimization. But for others, it could mean quality of life features, improved AI, and even additional content. But alright, let's just say that it's just the first bit. I want you to ask yourself, if you had that kind of gut reaction and maybe even left a comment on my previous video or other people's videos, don't you know what a remaster is? I want you to really honestly ask yourself, did you also do that for Creative Assembly's videos? Because if the rule is that you can't touch gameplay in a remaster, then what about the merchant? What about the rebalanced stats of units? What about the reworked start positions of armies and their units? What about the new unit size? Or the ability to just hide trees in forest battles? What about the firing arcs? Or the new dialogue for diplomacy? And the new diplomatic system that shows strength and other things?
Be quick. Our patience is limited.
What about the new faction intros, which have been completely thrown out, gotten rid of the old script, and are rewritten and redone, revoiced by different people? What about the removal of the advisor's voice, or the wonder videos, or the reskinning of units like the assassin who no longer even carries a club, he now carries a machete? Don't you know what a remaster is? But Darren, some of those things are optional. Yeah, some of them are, some aren't, and a modern AI could be optional, and my guess is that everyone would play with the updated AI, or updated pathfinding, or the addition of a couple units here and there for the unlocked factions. Ask yourself, and tell me in the comments if you reckon you've got a good argument for why you'd feel compelled to tell me what a remaster is, but not what CA are telling you it is. I know I've probably triggered a few people saying these things. It's not fun to make unpopular opinions, so I'm going to let the game do the talking, and play several clips from my time streaming the game. It's going to be a few minutes before it's over, and then I'll cut back in, but it's important to see the game for what it is. So let's take a look. Like, our siege is really great in this. Like, let's be fucking real. I love Rome 1. Like, let's just not attack them, huh? Let's just not attack them. Let's go a different way. Because why the hell not? Oh, they see me moving? Oh, great. That was that way, yeah. They surely are getting shot now, right? If I was Legend of Total War, I'd just be like, oh, this is so amazing. I'll just sit back here and wait forever. It's like an MG nest.
Victory!
Isn't it fair that I'd be a bit picky and a bit negative with this stuff? That when people say pike phalanxes in Rome 1 are so superior, and it's like, well, the enemy never formed them. Like, I'm in the settlement. They know where I'm coming at the gate. And yet, I don't have to do anything. You know what I mean? It's just so disappointing in so many ways. You guys hold your ground. And slingers, you get ready. And ballistas aim this way as well. Sent my generals over to fight their general. The slings, they do nothing. Oh. Oh my god. That's not what I asked you to do, man. It's not what I asked you to do. It's not what I asked you to do. We're gonna do this until we get it right. Come back. Because they're not gonna react, so we might as well form up. Easy. Careful. Oh. These guys pike down. He's gonna single-handedly kill the entire unit. Now they do have ammo, they just never threw it. They're very tired though, I can understand their laziness. Is this like about to go off or something? Because it still doesn't look like it's gone off. Oh, there it has. That doesn't look as good as it used to. You used to see the lava. They seem a little confused about which way to go.
The gods be praised! The enemy general is dead! His men know their doom approaches!
These guys still figuring it out. But it's so odd though, when I was playing Skippy, everyone was willing to do map info, but just Julia, everyone thinks it's demanding. Oh, really? Yes, they did it. Look at that guy dodging them all. Jesus, be careful, man. You psycho. Oh, he's part of the other unit. Yeah, I forgot that. Oh my god, look at this. And he's like, yeah, whatever, this is fine. We're both fine. Oh, he's not fine. He's after taking like 2 or 3 now. Jesus, he's quite strong, isn't he? That would be the benefit. It's certainly not a drawback, you know, it's an additional optional thing you can do. There we go, we got some awesome AI kicking into action again here. Watch out. Watch out, any moment now. Someone's gonna do something. They might throw, or they might attack, but no, we have to decide what's going to happen. I don't even need to do anything. They'll just be killed by towers. Is this what you wanted? Don't you know what a remaster is? How would you want better AI? Take that argument and shove it so far up your ass that I don't know. It comes out your mouth again. That you can taste the shit you're talking. There we go.
It will do stupid ass things like this.
Here we go. There they come. Oh my god. Oh no. Just kidding. We wanted to knock down that fence. Here we go. Nope. Nope. Don't take back this shit. Nope.
That was tough to watch. I don't think I need to really say any more. You're either going to believe that this is acceptable, or you're going to think that they should have improved it. I think they should have improved it and made it optional, because I believe that in 2004, if they could have made the AI better, they would have. I don't think the original design was to have bad AI, and if it was optional, you're still preserving that classic feel. It's really as simple as that. But let's be positive for a change. Let's talk about what's actually good. The game runs great, possibly now even the best running Total War game with the most amount of troops on screen. The battle environments look awesome, with the new lighting and some fog, increased texture quality and models for buildings. It just looks how you remember, but by comparison, far, far better, and that's how it should be. So it can't be understated that they did a phenomenal job on those aspects of the game. I want everyone to make a note of that. That was a positive comment. The tooltips are great. It might seem like a small thing, but they do look way better than before, and they pack way more information into them. Controls, of course, have been updated, largely following modern Total War games, with a few exceptions, a few missing things here and there, and a few hard-coded keybinds, which are strange. But generally, it controls way, way better now, allowing you to do things you just couldn't pull off before. The campaign aesthetics, to me at least, are kinda hit and miss. The water, reflections, in certain places like Greece, they look lovely. I didn't even know, but there's a nighttime variation of the map that only appears after you just fight a night battle. It looks really cool. However, most of the map, Italy, Hispania, they're just really oversaturated and bland. And yes, I did play with the option to desaturate them, but it's kind of like one texture is almost stretched over everything. That's what it feels like anyway. I'd go so far to say they're actually ugly in those particular places. New Total War games have astonishing looking maps. Total War games that are even 10 years old still have gorgeous looking maps that are almost timeless in their style. Rome 1 and Medieval 2's maps, while definitely not that pretty now, certainly had their own charm and style that I feel has been lost here. The UI proves to be contentious. Not to draw it out too long, I don't want to just be negative, but generally speaking, the UI changes have both lost a lot of the style of the original, removing the scrolls, a lot of the videos, the Senate videos are gone, the Wonder videos, and they actually have buried a lot of information behind multiple clicks, whereas before it was mostly just on one page. It's like, yes, it's more space efficient now, but it feels like the art is super small, yet you still have to scroll to see all your buildings. The icons are somewhat less readable at a glance because their colors are all the same, but it's not all bad. There's improvements like moving followers between generals is much easier, sending agents to faraway targets is better, it's nice seeing your trade routes on the map, and the summary screen is also better. I think when you get used to it, a lot of these little issues do go away, but like I said, there is just something about the style that's been lost, and there are some weird things that did not get improved. Like for instance, when you're in a battle, you can now rearrange your units. It's so good. You didn't used to be able to, but on the campaign you still can't, for some reason. When traveling with a navy, now your navy just shows just a handful of boats with a little scroll option, and then the army also has a scroll if it's full. It just seems odd not to have a flick between the two like the other games do. When an agent performs an action, you would normally see the results, pop up on your screen to let you know what just happened, but now you don't get anything and you have to open your messages and see the result. It's just little odd choices like that. It's like every aspect of the game they said, let's tuck it away into a menu or behind some scrolling. Very weird. The best aspects of the game are still there. The push and pull and collision of the units is still great. The classic general speeches that reflect the traits of your general, the battlefield you're in, and even the composition of your opponent's armies. It makes it feel so much more alive. The building system that, while rather simple, still allows you to approach the game however you want. And the same with armies and units, though it can be quite micromanagey later on when you're trying to pull together armies from various cities. It leaves everything up to you, though, to figure it out how you want to build your armies and how you want to build your towns. The game has now opened up its modding even further, and already we're starting to see makeshift naval battle mods and a few other big projects kick off, so that's very exciting. So while this video did feature on a lot of negatives, it's only because I'm so passionate about Rome Total War that it frustrates me that Creative Assembly and Feral Interactive just didn't push it that little bit further to improve the AI or add in a multiplayer campaign. Either one of those would be fine. I'm not saying they're easy, but they would have been great. A multiplayer campaign allows your opponent to take control of the enemy army. So if I'm playing Rome and my buddy is playing Egypt, even if I'm fighting Greece, he can step in and play the battle. It completely removes the AI from the battle part of the game, which makes the game so much more fun. Now, in my last video, I said that Rome 2 is a better game in 2021 than Rome 1. It's a controversial statement, you're not allowed to say anything good about Rome 2. But I stand by it. If you haven't played either, remember that, if you have not played either, I think you'll enjoy Rome 2 more. Rome 2, Shogun 2, and Warhammer 2, those three are basically equal to me. They have more content, more strategic depth, and more challenge. In 2004, Rome 1 pushed the boundaries and was basically a technological innovation. Massive armies, 3D battles, and an enormous attention to detail in many aspects of the game. So much so that they were featured with the History Channel and the BBC for recreations of famous historical battles. In 2013, just 9 years later, Rome 2 launched, and it was a massive disappointment. Broken AI, false promises, and just the worst bugs you'll ever see in a $60 game at launch. But eventually, over many years, it was patched and it became a pretty great Total War game. It's got its last updates in 2018, where the AI was improved, graphics were improved, and many additional quality of life things were added. It's not perfect, it's still not even what they said it would be, but it's a pretty great game by today's standard. Rome 1 was the better game for its time, and for what it accomplished, and for how it pushed those boundaries. Rome 2 is just now a more playable, more historical, and more content-rich game. And I'll put it out there. If people want, I'll make a 2021 review of Rome 2. A case for Rome 2. Something I never thought I'd do. Vanilla, no mods. But I'll need to see a bit of demand for it in the comments. So leave a comment, or at the very least leave a like, or a like on someone else's comment. Just so I can gauge if there's any interest for that. Now, if you haven't seen it, I also reviewed the mod Divide et Impera, which just passed 700,000 views. I really recommend checking it out because I think you'll be surprised if you're unfamiliar with it. It's got population, supply lines, more units than any other Total War game. Anyways, that's it for my sort of mini review of Total War Rome Remastered. A lot of stuff I touched on has already been talked about in my previous video, so this one's just a bit shorter. I don't really have much more to add other than that. And though I sound quite negative, it's still my favorite game. I just wish they updated it a little bit more so that when people tried it for the first time, they could have understood just how good it was. That's all from me. I'll see you in the next one.
He does not stand but runs away! Is there any point in killing him? The enemy general has been killed!
Hey guys, thank you very much for watching, and remember, if you want to support this series directly, you can click the join button to become a channel member. Doing so will get your name in the credits, as well as loyalty badges and emotes to use in the comments. If you don't see the join button, it means the video has been copyright claimed, but you can still join from the channel page on desktop. You can also link your account to our Discord to get a special role on there that will give you access to the Senate House and a few other perks.